Now, I just want to test your memory. Do you remember that slogan back in 2019? Take back control was the slogan we were promised. In fact, that was the slogan back in the referendum. Take back control of our laws, money and borders. That's the crucial one. Do you remember reading the Conservative Party manifestos, not just in December 19, but also in 3 other elections, 2010, 2015, and then 2017, that all promised consecutively that they were going to reduce immigration numbers into the United Kingdom. You might even remember David Cameron. He said he wanted to bring them down to the tens of thousands. Tens of thousands. Just think about that. Well, something seems to have happened. And the numbers released this morning confirm that actually it's done exactly the opposite. It has gone into an exponential uphill, almost a straight line uphill. Just look at this graph that I've got here, which actually takes you back to, I think, the 1950s. And you can see that for a number of decades, actually, we almost had, since 1964, we almost had net emigration. And then we had numbers at around less than 100,000 a year. And then all of a sudden, things changed when Tony Blair came to power in 1997. And the numbers increased to about 250,000. That was all part of the whole freedom of movement in the European Union. And then the Tories came to power in 2010. And we'll just look at that graph again, because the numbers gradually increased. They sort of milling around the 250,000 mark, and then occasionally up to 300,000 mark. And then suddenly, here we are, 2021, 22, and now 2023, you can see this vertical line going absolutely north at a rate of knots. In fact, so rapidly is it heading north that the government has had to admit via the Office for National Statistics today that last year's number that they confirmed 6 months ago was 606,000 net. Wasn't. No, they got it wrong by 20%. Actually, it was 745,000 net. The gross number, people coming in, was about 1.25, 1.3 million people. That's about the size of Birmingham. Just bear that image in mind. So that was 2022, and we were told at the time that it was an exceptional year. Don't worry about it. Things will start to come down. Well, it turns out it wasn't exceptional. Here we are, the 12 months to June 23, and actually the number is just under 700,000. So it wasn't exceptional. This seems to be the norm. So that promise of David Cameron's of tens of thousands, I mean, we're rapidly heading towards, based on that graph, we're heading closer to 1 million net. Now, within that graph, within those numbers, there's something extraordinary, and that's the number of student visas being granted. And it's really important to concentrate on this, because I've got 2 graphs here that show that actually the student visas, the first one here that you can see, shows this is the growth in student visa numbers. In the last 4 years, it's almost tripled, from around 200,000 to 500,000. So that's sort of 2.5 times just on students. But that's not the end of the story. No, we've got more to come. Because what the next graph shows is the growth in dependents who've also come to the United Kingdom alongside their students. Now, when I went to university, I didn't take my girlfriend to uni up in Manchester. You know, I was okay, I could cope on my own, but no, this has all changed. Yeah, so the number of dependents has increased by 6 or 7-fold to about 150,000. So you add 500,000 to 650,000 student visas and student visa dependents, okay, that's 650,000. But here's what I can reveal that I don't think anybody else is focused on. In the overall ONS numbers, they have totaled 410,000 student visas. So there's a gap between 410 650,000. That's almost another 250,000, gross and net. So where have those 250,000 gone? Some might say, well, that'll come up in this year's numbers. Well, if that's the case, then it proves my point that these numbers are not exceptional, they're baked in. It might well prove, if the student numbers continue to grow, which the universities want them to and some in the government want them to, that actually we're going to see higher net immigration in this year and in the year to June 2024. So the takeaway from this, folks, is that this is not exceptional, this is baked in. And that therefore leads me to ask the question, the audience question this evening. Is this record immigration, is it the ultimate Brexit betrayal? Is this record immigration the ultimate Brexit betrayal? Email me farage@gbnews.com or tweet #Farage on GB News.